Hi everyone. So back in June, I found out that after 20 something years of waiting, I had finally got drawn for a Maine moose permit. It was October hunt, bull, zone 5, which worked out well for my schedule. Up till then I didn't have any hound hunts booked for that week, so I didn't have any trouble scheduling there, and I've worked for a set of camps in Zone 5 for the past 5 or 6 years, so I knew a good part of that zone very well. I was pretty excited. My sister-in-law also got drawn, so my brother was going to be, is actually same zone, same week, so I knew he wasn't going to be able to hunt with me. I brought a friend of mine along. She really wanted to see a moose hunt and try doing some filming and just kind of experience it, and I was happy because where I deal with people all the time, guiding them hunting, I just kind of wanted a low-key, low-stress hunt for myself. So not that there wasn't plenty of stress, but so we put this short film together. I hope you enjoy it. Getting used to this GoPro thing and finding out that batteries get cold, the camera won't work, so unfortunately didn't get all the film that we'd like to, but did the best we can. Hope you enjoy. So Monday of the hunt, went into an area that is just a short dead end road in between two ponds. They'd cut there 3 or 4 years before, so there was a lot of good young growth. There was I'd seen a lot of moose sign in there. I'd chased dogs around in there before, and I'd seen some big moose in there. So I didn't do a ton of scouting before the season. Like I said, I knew the zone well, and they hunted. The first hunt was 2 weeks before, so, and I was running hounds a week before our hunt. So I did get out a couple days and just rode around and looked at sign to see, make sure there was moose in the areas that I wanted to hunt, and there always is. So the big thing was finding a spot where we weren't going to get interrupted by other hunters, and luckily I got in there Monday morning, well before daylight. Nobody else even tried to come in, and unfortunately it was real quiet. We never heard a response to our calls, never heard a cow bellow. I mean, we didn't hear nothing. So Monday was kind of a bust. So Tuesday morning, I had found a spot Monday afternoon that looked really well. I talked to another hunter that they'd killed a moose that morning, and actually told me to go check that area out, which I did, and I liked it a lot. So that was where we were first thing Tuesday morning. I did call a small bull in. It came out 350 yards way down this winter road, and it wasn't a big bull, and to be honest with you, I don't even know if he was coming to my calls. He was just I think he was just coming across the road, headed down towards the big bog. But he stayed there in the trail for a little while. I called, he was kind of interested, but he kind of came towards us a little bit, but really didn't seem interested. And finally he walked over the side, and I called again, and he walked back out in the winter road. And I wasn't going to shoot this moose on Tuesday morning anyway. He wasn't a real big one. He was maybe 30 inches wide, didn't have anything for palms or anything, but I was going to try to play around with him a little bit. So I did grunt at him and tried raking a little bit, and he wanted nothing to do with that, and off he went. So that was pretty much it for the action on Tuesday. The wind picked up, and so it kind of hurt our chances of calling, and we rode around, scouted, and sat, I think, in that spot in the evening for a couple hours. But yeah, that was our Tuesday. Oh. Oh. So Wednesday morning, I was right back to that spot we were Tuesday, where we'd seen the small bull. I just walked further up that winter road, close to where that bull had come across, and we started calling there. Now, I never got a response all week anytime I called, and they will come in silent sometimes. I've had that happen quite often. Now this morning, I heard a couple big snaps off to our left, the way I was looking, and the wind was coming up from the bog, but it was further enough away that I wasn't worried about the moose winding us. The problem was, I never heard a response, and like I said, I just heard those two big snaps. So it was, maybe 5 minutes later before I heard some noise directly in front of us downwind, and then you could hear it walking off. So pretty sure it was a bull that had come in, just never got a look at him. And later that day, found a spot. We saw a cow there and a lot of good moose signs, so it was another spot that I was interested in hunting, and that was our plan for first thing Thursday morning.
in to the
So Thursday morning, I moved into this other area. We started there. A bunch of big clear cuts out behind this area. Actually, at the end of this little woods road system, there was a clear cut that had been planted with spruce. But there was a couple other cuts that were 5 or 6 years old that had a lot of good feed in there for moose, and there was a lot of moose sign in there. Unfortunately, we just didn't see anything Thursday morning. Now, wound up hooking up with my brother later in the morning. My sister-in-law, she killed her moose Monday morning, and they were out bird hunting, and they came over to give me a hand. So, talking with my brother, he said he wasn't having much luck. He'd tried calling in a few during the week, and decided that we should just cover some ground, try to find some moose. So we took off, and I was moving right along on these major road systems, and we get to the top of this great big hill, and just as I start cresting down, I see moose down at the bottom. So I stop the truck, I get out, pull the gun out, load it, and start scoping down there. So I'm looking way down this hill through the scope, and there's 2 cows in the road. And I know it's a long ways, but I'm thinking it's 350, maybe 400 yards. So I'm looking, and all of a sudden the bull walks out into the road. So I see the bull, and of course I get excited. So I start shooting. And I fire 3 times at this moose. My brother's right behind me. After the first shot, he's out of his truck, and he's right behind me looking down the hill. So I'm watching through the scope. I fire once, nothing. They just start scrambling around the road. I fire again, and he walks over the side of the road, and he picks his front foot up like this. So I aim, I shoot, and then he just goes down in the ditch. And so we take off in the truck down there. The cows run off, and we get looking around, and there's a spot of blood. I mean, a spot. So, like I said, we found a spot of blood down there in the road, and it was easy to follow. All 3 moose had run down this big trail, and there was like 3 or 4 spots of blood. Not much at all. And we spent over 2 hours in there looking, and there just wasn't any sign that I'd hit it hard at all. So we go back, and we're looking up the hill, and my brother says, I said, how far is that anyway? He says, I'll go up and range it. So he drove up in his truck, and he come back down. He says, well, he says, if you hit it, he says, you were lucky. He says, it was over 500 yards. So this is about a 38-inch drop on my bullet, and I wasn't compensating for that at all. So it was a little depressing after that point. That was a mistake. You know, I should have tried to get closer. It was, you know, a lot of things should have done differently there, but you know, you learn something every time you're out in the woods hunting, and that was a lesson I learned. So Friday morning, we started right where we started Thursday morning. I get in there just before daylight, and my plan was I was just going to slowly ride in. There was a road goes in there probably a little over 2 miles with one side road. I was just going to go real slow and check those roads out. So as daylight, you know, the first light, we had rain coming later in the day, so I figured the moose would be moving. And you know, unfortunately they weren't responding to calls, so the plan was just to cover some ground and try to catch one somewhere. So we started down the road at first light, took the side road, didn't see anything, came out of there, made the turn to go down to the end where the big plantation is, and we didn't get a quarter mile in, and I started around the corner, and I see something way down the road. It looked black. I thought it could be a moose, but it was way down there, so I just kept creeping along, and we kind of went down a little hill, so I lost sight of it. And as we come up the other side, I saw a moose that was closer on the side, standing on the side of the road. So we stopped there, and that's when I get out, and it was 2 bulls, and I picked the biggest one, and that was it.
This denial I talked about doesn't affect the operations immediately. But if I'm in a surrounding community waiting final decisions on the fate of Shaman, I got to be there.
I think it's the viability of the dams that Brookfield, you know, these are not big money makers. It's not a financial thing. They just believe that any electricity you put out of the dam, the state of Maine, I'm clear about that. It's the state of Maine that benefits the state of Maine.
So we beat the rain. The moose was down on the side of the road. It was pretty ideal. So I got a hold of a friend of mine who was hunting up in Zone 2. His brother had a permit, and they'd shot a big bull the day before. So they weren't far away from me, and they ran down and gave me a hand loading it on the back of the truck, and we got it tagged, took it to the butcher shop. You know, the moose weighed 827 pounds, had a 43-inch spread. It wasn't a giant, but I just wanted something with a rack, and it has a pretty nice rack. So that was my hunt. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my other videos if you like this. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Go ahead, I got the step up.